The longer the time spent in retirement, the harder it becomes to be certain about a retiree's financial outcome. When planning for retirement or living it, you must understand the risks that lie ahead and how they could impact your financial security. Joining me is Taylor Knopf with Prime Capital Investment Advisors in Boerne, Texas. Taylor, one strategy for managing risk with investments is diversification. So talk about what you see with clients in your practice.
No, it's a great question. The number one place to start when we talk about diversification and managing risk is we need to manage our expectations. If you're an individual that only needs 2, 3, 4, 5% a year, you have a different picture, a different tolerance than someone that might not have been as prepared for retirement and needs to reach for a higher return. So the diversification is really going to play a role in what are our expectations, what is our need in retirement, now where do we allocate our funds.
Taylor, how should exposure to market risk in a portfolio change as someone gets closer to retirement?
The standard is that we need to start moving some equities off of the table. Now, times are different than they were 20 years ago, they're different than they were 40 years ago. So that might not always be the exact standard. We may just want to allocate to more stable equities. We don't need to look as much for growth as we do for dividend.
Finally, what are some of the other risks retirees or those getting ready to retire should consider?
One of the major risks people really need to be concerned about is their liquidity risk. What are you invested in? It makes sense for some of your portfolio to be slightly locked up and provide a sustainable return. But what happens when we need a new roof? What happens when the car goes down? There are very specific risks that we need to take into account because you're going to have a very specific and consistent paycheck in retirement. You don't have an annual bonus coming. You don't have things you might have become accustomed to in your working years. So now we need to make sure that we have the liquidity available to adapt as life changes.
My guest is Taylor Knopf in Boerne, Texas. Thanks for watching Retirement News Online.